Philadelphia's destroying of the Giants has created a buying opportunity in the Birds' front office. While the trade deadline is still a week out, the first domino has officially fallen, giving the Birds some fresh insight into the cost of their top options. However, making a move will mean a surprising cut is coming on the horizon. Plus, like Fangio's take on the state of the cornerback and edge rusher room, what Big Dom just did for Camp Skattebo you need to hear, and a new trade target I really want but likely won't get. I'm Thomas Mott, this is the Thomas Mott Show. It might officially be Philadelphia's bye week right now, and yet the NFL trade deadline and the Green Bay Packers are looming on the horizon, meaning this week is going to be anything but relaxing for Howie Roseman and company, as the first trade domino around the NFL actually fell this morning. All while Philadelphia internally has some pretty tough roster decisions to make in the next couple of days. Plus, there's some new noise both inside and outside the building that's growing, but really not a big deal, all thanks to the Birds' first dominant win of the season. I mean, I said yesterday, it's starting to feel like 2024 all over again, and the next 72 plus hours could add a lot more to that excitement. And of course, with the vibes flying high in Philadelphia right now, you get a second chance to enter the Jordan Spector Art Saquon Barkley giveaway. It's happening later on this week, so be one of the, 53% of you guys who watch my show and are subscribed. Drop a like and have Saquon in your comment down below. You can say anything you want, just include Saquon. That gets you entered. Again, giveaway happening later on this week. You want to win this bad boy? Give me a comment down below. Now, before we get to the roster and trade news, quickly here, the best story of the week already has to revolve around Giants running back Camp Skattebo and our own Big Dom. Skattebo, as we know, dislocated his ankle. This was brutal on Sunday and is officially done for the season. He was, of course, rushed to a local Philadelphia hospital for immediate stabilization and surgery on that ankle. And apparently, though, the report is, upon waking up, he was greeted by none other than Eagles legend Big Dom, who dropped off some Angelo's pizza and cheesesteaks for the rookie running back, which is an awesome story and also the most Big Dom thing ever because he truly is, if you've ever met him, the nicest person in the entire world. And this is exactly a peak Big Dom move. I, for one, have met Big Dom twice now, first during our Philly Dogs meet and greet this past summer at the NovaCare Complex, where he said he knew my show and then offered myself, Josh Davis, and the rest of the crew the Big Dom behind-the-scenes tour. Let's just say, again, he's the nicest guy ever, and seeing him get national attention for yet another act of kindness, this time with Skattebo, as I said earlier, is easily the best story of the day. Now, feel-good stories aside, let's move to the roster, as Philadelphia's first move of the week was officially not that interesting, but it does matter, as they released cornerback Perry Nickerson from the active roster before bringing him back less than 24 hours later to the practice squad, which likely can be accredited to the fact that they need to create a roster spot for Jakorian Bennett, who will need that spot once he's officially activated off the IR, likely early next week. And that makes sense, not a huge deal. However, we have to understand today that with the activation incoming of Jakorian Bennett, Philadelphia still needs 2 more active roster spots in order to fill what will be Nolan Smith's new position and Brandon Graham's new position, and so more cuts are happening, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, but definitely by next week. It's something that we can kind of overlook because, well, Nolan Smith and BG, they're obviously on the active roster, but technically not the case as of right now due to injuries. So to get up to the 53, they have to cut Perry Nickerson, as we saw, activate Jakorian Bennett, then cut 2 more players. That will get you BG and obviously Nolan Smith. And then if you want to make a trade, that will be a 4th cut in the next 7 days. And one player I'm watching out for to possibly be cut, maybe brought back to the practice squad, is AJ Dillon. And that, of course, is due because Tank Bigsby completely broke out this past Sunday, and really, after seeing that, it can't be unseen. Bigsby is clearly the second best running back on this team, and obviously Philadelphia loves Will Shipley's versatility and the fact he's young and a draft pick, so really, read the room here, Dillon is probably going to be the odd man out, which is a bummer, but as KP said today, Tank adds a whole new wrinkle to this offense that they've definitely been missing.
You know, in the short time we've had him, his explosiveness is evident. Like, you can see it in practice, whether it's drills, team periods, whatever he was doing. So you knew he had it. You know, we had watched tape on him before, so you could definitely see it. To see it in person was obviously a little bit different, but it was exciting. You know, it just adds another element to our offense, another dynamic player that Saquon needs a blow, and he gets tired for a second. We can go back out there with Tank and keep it rolling.
There are obviously other candidates we'll talk about in the coming days who could also be cut, but the main emphasis right now is to realize they're going to have to make some serious roster adjustments and cut players that they like in order to bring back BG, bring back Bennett, bring back Nolan Smith, and then make room for their 4th roster move, which hopefully is going to be a trade. Oh, and just to kick the dead horse on the trade for the 100th time the past couple of days, Philadelphia is going to make a move, especially if you believe Adam Schefter himself yesterday on Get Up, who said he's guaranteeing, he's expecting, if you will, Philadelphia to go ahead and make one, if not multiple moves before next Tuesday, which of course is a great segue into the NFL trade deadline move that happened yesterday, which really is the first main domino to fall as Philadelphia gears up for November 4th. Eagles cornerback target Roger McCreary was dealt from the Titans to the Rams on Monday for the very cheap price of a 2026 pick to LA and a 2025 fifth back to Tennessee. If you didn't know who he was, McCreary, one of these young cornerback targets, we've talked about him in Philadelphia. Obviously, final year of his rookie contract, can play inside and outside. He made a ton of sense for the Birds. Not a superstar by any means, but I would argue a clear upgrade over Kelee and Adoree' in Philadelphia. Which then leads to the question of why did the Birds not try and land McCreary? And honestly, there are two main options. Option A, they have bigger fish to fry. They want a true shutdown cornerback on the outside, like a Rick Woolen or a Denzel Ward. Or option B, they just aren't going to spend draft capital on a corner and do trust Bennett, Adoree', and Kelee. Although I argue, based on Vic Fangio's answer to the whole question this morning about how he feels, overall with the cornerback unit, I think he is kind of hinting he wouldn't mind some outside help.
Yeah, he did play better. Plan moving forward, we got to see what JB looks like here in practice. What Adoree' looks like coming off of his injury, and figure it out.
Do you like what you have with everyone healthy?
Yeah, we find a way to get it done.
With all the trade news we expect in the next 7 days, you must take it with a grain of salt because we don't know what's going on inside the Birds front office. Did they try to trade for Roger McCreary and didn't offer enough? Are they not interested in him at all? Do they think he was a bad fit? We do not know. But we do know he's the first official trade to happen before the trade deadline at a position the Birds want, edge rusher and cornerback, and at least, bare minimum, they didn't get him, but they know the price now. And I think this overall shows that getting a cornerback who would be an upgrade over Kelee or Adoree' is not going to be as expensive as some of us first thought. Now, moving on to the edge rusher trade news, and there is at least a new name to throw into the ring as a potential option, as this morning there was a report that the Giants are willing to shop edge rusher Kayvon Thibodeaux. And straight off the bat, I said to myself, Kayvon would be the perfect target in my opinion. Rookie contract, a little up and down, so a little bit cheaper, but clearly has the tools to be great. The problem, though, you should know this right away, is that Thibodeaux is a New York Giant, and do you really think the Giants want to see another ex-Giant shine in Philadelphia? I think not. So Thibodeaux has my seal of approval, but Hendrickson, Chubb, Phillips, among others, are way more likely. And as of right now, there's no update on Hendrickson or Chubb. It's still early here in terms of trade deadline week. A lot of these moves, if they're not going to happen early this week, are going to happen this coming weekend because you want to make sure you get your moves in before the next game, or it'll happen right after Sunday's slate of games, so Monday before the Tuesday trade deadline. Either way, it's important to go ahead and point out that the first domino has fallen, but there are still plenty of other options that are going to happen in the next couple of days and weeks, and I'm super pumped to see what Philadelphia does. However, I do want to play this clip from Vic Fangio today during his press conference. He was asked about the edge rusher room. You could clearly see the reporters are trying to get him to say, we need another edge rusher, and he threw a little bit of water on that fire, but overall not a ton.
BG's working his way back into football shape, playing shape. Hopefully we get Nolan back here soon. So that's two guys that we haven't had since whenever Nolan went out. So, yeah, it's looking to be better. And, we're working Jihad there some. And Jalix has played good all year, I think. Obviously, he's had his plays he'd like to have back. But he's a young guy who's progressing. So, we're in good shape there.
Is this the makeup of the room right now capable of doing what you want it to do the rest of the year?
It has to be.
I personally took that as Vic Fangio not sounding too confident, at least overall in the edge rusher room, but he is excited to get back Nolan Smith and Brandon Graham. That is going to make a big, big difference. I'm still sitting here about 80% confident they will make a move. I feel very confident it's going to be an edge rusher, but there still is a 20% chance they don't make a move, and so I just want to prepare you guys as the news comes in, as the days go by. It sounds like all the reports are saying they're going to make a move, and yet there is a world where they're just content with the guys they have in both the corner and edge rusher room. I just hope that's not the case. Now, one trade that's not going to happen, and we all know this, is, of course, A.J. Brown. And honestly, the whole drama doesn't really interest me, but there was a report, or at least a rumor on Sunday, that A.J. Brown deleted some previous tweets that featured him praising Jalen Hurts. And honestly, I've tried to confirm this. It's very hard. Josh Davis said he could confirm it. I tried, and I still saw the tweets up there. So did he delete them? Did he not? I don't really know. But what I do know is the fact that Philadelphia is not going to trade him simply due to the idea of a $50 million dead cap hit, making it not an option. Plus, I actually like Nick Sirianni today on WIP, one of the main entities, I guess, trying to trade A.J. Brown away for whatever reason. But Sirianni said it's been business as usual and had zero bad things to say about A.J. Brown.
Nick, what is going on with A.J. Brown? I know that's an open-ended question, but what is going on with him?
Obviously, I think what you're referring to is probably that, a couple weeks ago, that was a couple weeks ago. It's been business as usual. really excited to get him back on the field. I've almost forgot about what happened a couple weeks ago, just working on ways to get better. I know he wants to do everything he can do to get back out there. We're excited to be able to get him back. You can only judge things off your interactions and how they are in the building. And AJ's been great in the building. In my interactions, I'm always in communication with all our guys. Obviously AJ as well. And so looking forward to when he can get back. And I know he wants to get back out there and help us win football games.
I don't know why I need to keep repeating this, but I guess if radio stations are telling you they should trade him, it's at least worth noting here on a show where I try and at least be a little bit honest that they cannot afford to eat $50 million in dead cap money. And there's no real drama brewing right now with A.J. Brown. He might be unhappy. He might get moved in the offseason. I don't know. But the next 7 days, rest assured, unless they get an offer that they just can't refuse, A.J. Brown is not getting moved. And so rest assured, he's going to be fine. What's far more exciting to me has to be the continued dominance, though, of DeVonta Smith, who essentially has become unguardable the past 2 weeks to the point that on the Jahan Dotson touchdown bomb, for example, look at Smitty at the bottom of the screen here, completely torches cornerback for like 10 yards. He is so unguardable right now and playing on a completely different level that once A.J. Brown does come back, this duo is going to absolutely feast. Over the past 4 weeks, DeVonta Smith has had nearly the same number of receiving yards as the league leader, that's Jamar Chase, and yet look at the targets, almost half the amount of targets. Obviously credit to Smitty himself, of course, but also Kayvon Thibodeaux and the man throwing him the football, QB1, Jalen Hurts, who, by the way, is suddenly on pace for some serious MVP caliber stats, despite having the 11th best odds to win the award as of today. And yet, try and answer this for me, why is the guy with the second best odds, Josh Allen, technically in line for worse numbers through 8 weeks than Jalen Hurts, who has the 11th best odds? Yeah, that's just the typical hate on Jalen Hurts that we've seen and come to know and love, but pretty crazy to see their stats compared side by side. In the end, though, I don't think Jalen Hurts compares about stats. He said as much. He wants to win regular season games, win playoff games, and win Super Bowls. And the good news is, out of all of today's news, they're back on track. Back-to-back very impressive wins, back-to-back great days for Jalen Hurts. The Saquon Barkley, explosion on Sunday was a great relief, and the defense is playing much, much better. All while A.J. Brown, Nolan Smith, Brandon Graham, the injuries are going to be settled. They're going to all come back after the bye week, and Howie Roseman is lurking in the trade market. And again, Adam Schefter said it. I showed you the clip. It's not just me saying it. The Eagles are likely going to go ahead and make a trade. Today, Monday, going into the bye week, it's a great day to be a Philadelphia Eagle. Plus, just to triple amplify the good news here on a Tuesday, look at the rest of the NFC East following the Commanders' loss to the Chiefs on Monday Night Football. This is clearly a one-horse race. There is no team in the NFC Philadelphia should fear, especially in their own division. I know Dallas's offense, it's looked okay, but their defense is terrible. Commanders have injuries, and the Giants, they're virtually out of it. This is lining up perfectly for the Birds heading into the bye, and I could not be more excited. Now, of course, plenty more stuff happening the next couple of days and weeks. We will cover the news as soon as it happens here on the channel, if and when they make a move. I still think when, but we'll see. As many of you guys know, I'm having my first baby on Monday, November, 3rd? Yeah, November 3rd. So, day before the trade deadline. I don't know if I'm going to go get a show up that day. Probably not. I begged my wife, but more important things do call. But do expect that some things could change this week if we have different baby, things were to happen. First-time father, don't know what I'm doing, but thoughts and prayers for us would be grateful. Let me know down below in the comment section. I know a lot of you guys have commented your support, and I greatly appreciate it, but we are 6 days out, so very excited for that. But it does lead into the trade deadline, and so if you don't hear from me for a couple of days, that, of course, is why. I'm Thomas Mott, though. I'll keep an eye on everything. As you know, this has been the Thomas Mott Show.